Hello and welcome to Note There's Only Trash Here podcast. The date today is the 8th of September 2013. So instead of that other British guy, Mr. McLuckable, he won't be joining me again this week, but I got an American in to do it. You guys know him. It's Mr. Pokemon Theory himself. It's ProtoMario.
In America.
Yeah.
I'm just like Lieutenant Surge. In America. America.
UK. Yeah.
America.
Maybe the UK as well?
You better shut your mouth or I'll have my electric Pokemon paralyze you.
Oh man, you're not messing around.
That's why I got this uniform on for no reason whatsoever. In America.
Oh, I'll just use my Pikachu and use Quick Attack.
What? Hey, that's not fair.
Oh, it's just, you gotta play the game, agility and all that.
I can't.
Games are hard.
Games are hard. Why did I become a gym leader again? Why do I only use electric Pokemon? Why don't I level them up? I quit!
Anyways, yeah, so, let's get into it. Well, the first thing I want to do is a cheap plug, alright? Because I made a Twitter. It's not going too great. It's not taking off. If you know what I'm saying.
Well, that might be because Twitter keeps getting hacked, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's not great, but anyway, I'm going to throw it out there, so if you want my thoughts on games during the week or whatever, I don't know, just go follow me on Twitter, HonestTom23, so if there's any podcast updates, that's probably where they'll be as well, so if I'm running late on one of the episodes or whatever, go check my Twitter for info.
Yeah, I tweet at Tom a lot, too. I have accounts on anything, so if it's a social website or something, I probably have an account. Just look up ProtoMario, and I probably have an account. If I don't, I'll make one just for you. I don't care.
A Google Plus account, you gotta have that.
I do have one of those. They forced me to get it, so I was like, fine, whatever. I hate you, Google.
Yeah, I don't know. Google Plus isn't that bad, but I don't want one.
I literally see no functionality in it other than people that are on YouTube also are on that, which defeats the whole purpose.
Well, the only cool thing about it is that you can do a Google Hangout with people, which is where you're both in like some sort of session in the internet, and then you can watch YouTube videos at the same time. So that's pretty cool, but that's about it, really.
Okay, yeah, that's alright.
But that's it, I mean, no one really cares. Anyway, let's get into the actual podcast itself. So let's start off with the always classic gaming news.
Gaming news.
Alright, so the big one, it was a bit of a lukewarm kind of story when this came out. It wasn't like a big conference or anything like that, but Microsoft officially announced that the Xbox One is coming on the 22nd of November. Now, yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, me and Proto briefly did a video, where we kind of discussed this, but to go into it again, it's surprising that they made such a, predictable launch date,
November 22nd, right after Thanksgiving, and I don't know, maybe not, and right before Christmas.
But you have that whole holiday season when a console could come out. So I don't know why they always have it the end of November. Like, why couldn't they just do it the beginning of November and undercut Sony and everything like that? I don't quite get the logic there, because they always do it every console generation. It's always November.
I think it has something to do with how long it takes for them to, I'm just gonna use the basic rough terms here. How long it takes some guy to put the boxes of the Xbox Ones into bigger boxes and ship them across the world. That's what I think. I think the Xbox One's just about finished, and at the end of this month, they're gonna just start every day of, towards the end of September and the beginning of November is gonna be the shipping.
Yeah, I did.
Because they removed several countries from the launch date, right?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. There's only 13 countries getting the Xbox One on the 22nd. I mean, it's a worldwide release date, which I really like, but it's only 13 countries.
Originally, it was going to be 24, so that in itself tells me right now that they're just having problems shipping it on time.
Well, it
That's
has
all.
to be the thing because I assumed that they were only shipping to 13 countries, so they could undercut, maybe put it on the same week that Call of Duty Ghost comes out because they seem to love Call of Duty so much. But if it's coming out around the same time as the PS4, then yeah, they must be having some pretty bad stock issues, which I hope they kind of figure out over Christmas so people can actually get their Xbox Ones.
I can tell you this is probably how it's going to go. You're probably going to be living in a big city, and there's going to be no Xbox Ones for 3 to 4 months, just like the Wii. But then if you live in a small town like me, there'll probably be Xbox Ones out the butt. You can walk into a store and get one if you really want. That's just how it goes. So if you're interested in making some money or something like that, you could probably just, do something like buy a bunch of them and sell them. If you live in a small town, and you'd probably be able to make $10 to $20 on each one.
Well, I'm sure
If
people have already done that with Amazon, probably got multiple
yeah.
Xbox Ones,
Yep.
because people are just so cool and awesome like that, they just have to make money and stuff.
Supply and demand, capitalism.
Society, it's awesome.
Are you against America?
Well,
Do you not like America?
I'm okay with America. I got no problems. Oh, but
America!
God damn it! Don't you turn this into a massive patriotic
That's Lieutenant
podcast?
Surge in a nutshell, man. That's all. That's like, I know he doesn't say that much, but that's how I'd feel if I was around him. Like, he all the time, America, and I'd be like, enough, man. I get it.
Is there like an eagle Pokemon that he could have?
Yeah, there is actually. It's in black and white.
Ah, so he should have that eagle one, a bald eagle.
He should have himself an eagle and, let me think here, a donkey and an elephant for the Republican Party and the Democratic Party.
And then maybe just a big cheeseburger Pokemon,
Well, we can't have that. Food's not Pokemon. Oh, wait a minute.
It kind of is.
Ha ha! Anyways, moving on before I offend all the viewers that watch me.
Well, yeah, moving on.
Ice cream's not a Pokemon!
It is though. Officially.
Sadly, it is.
What a sign's done. Sad.
Yeah, that sign's done.
But with the Xbox One release date, it's like, so it's not really that surprising, but at the end of the day, the people who are going to buy an Xbox One are going to buy an Xbox One, the people going to buy a PS4 are going to buy a PS4, so it's
Exactly.
it's disappointing that they didn't go for like a surprise release date, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter when the thing comes out.
The only thing I can say that might cause a conflicting problem with this is that there's always the parents out there that are rich, and little Johnny's asking for a game console, and they don't pay attention to little Johnny. They're too busy making money, so they're like, little Johnny wants an Xbox 4, and they go to GameStop, and they're like, I need an Xbox 4, and it's a week before the Xbox One comes out, and the guy behind the counter is retarded too, and he's like, did you mean a PS4? And oh yeah, PS4, that's what little Johnny wants. And then little Johnny gets a PS4, and for no reason, for the facts that it's a better console or anything like that, nothing like that, just for the simple fact that the parents are ignorant, PS4 sells more for that reason. I'd be willing to say that there's about probably 10-20% of the systems that get sold for that reason alone. So if Xbox had come out, then maybe they would have posed the question, you mean an Xbox One or a PS4? And they would have been like, hang on, let me ask little Johnny,
It's a bit of an odd choice because a lot of people want the third-party titles. Over this holiday season, it's not about knack. It's not about those sort of games.
I know so many people, they're like, oh man, I can't wait to play that
Knack looks so good.
Knack's so badass, oh my god, Knack!
It's not like about Killer Instinct. It's not about the exclusives this
Right.
holiday season. It's about the third-party titles. People want the
'cause
Call
there
of
is
Duty.
there's no Halo 4.
No,
Or,
next
you know.
year, next holiday season, it's going to be all about the big exclusives because Sony and Microsoft are going to bring out the
Yep.
big guns. But this year it's not. So really, it's a case of if you're trying to make that choice, you're just trying to be like, okay, I want some next generation Assassin's Creed. So with the PS4 coming first, those people, they might not be that patient and wait for the Xbox One. Instead, they'll be like, right, I can get my next generation Watch Dogs right here, right now with the PS4, and I don't have to wait a week. So they might screw themselves over there, although this argument is only relevant in America, because over here in Europe, the Xbox One comes out a week before the PS4. So over here it'll be a case of, if you want your next generation FIFA, then you get the Xbox One if you don't want to wait a week.
Exactly. So that's how it's going to go. I can guarantee you it right now. That's just how it's going to be. And if you don't like it, well, you know what? Tough luck. Stop buying games, because that's just how it's going to go.
It's really weird though, because these consoles are both going to do well. I don't think either of them are it's not going to be like, oh, the Xbox One or the PS4 is going to sweep. I think they're both going to do well. But it's bizarre saying that, though, that there's any of this competition, because if you remember, like, when the PS3 came out, how much of a big bomb that console was,
might be because they set the price at $600, Tom.
Exactly, they just screwed themselves over with the price, and it came out afterwards and there were no games. But now you flip it around, and people love the PS3. They had the redesign, they got The Last of Us, Uncharted, they got the games, and the price was right.
Yep.
So really, at the end of the day, the first year in a console's life, you can just disregard. It doesn't kind of matter. Like, when you really think about it, a console's launch doesn't matter that much. I'm not just saying that because of the Wii U, because I'm a Wii U guy, but at the end of the day, that first, we can talk about the holiday season, what's going to do well, what's not all day long, but really it doesn't dictate either one of these consoles doing well or bad.
That's the truth. I always say it doesn't matter what the console does. It really doesn't. The console will do fine if it has the games that you want to play. If you want to play Mario, you're going to buy a Wii U. If you want to play Halo, you're going to buy an Xbox. And if you want to play Uncharted, Killzone, you're going to buy a PS4. That's all there is to it. I see absolutely no reason for someone to buy all three consoles if they're not going to play the exclusives on the consoles.
And since at least the PS2, maybe earlier, it's been a case of at the end of the day, you're going to have at least two of the consoles by the time their generation ends. I mean, I have all three at the moment. And then with the PS2, I had a GameCube first, and then I got a PS2, so I had both of them. So really, I think a lot of people are going to have two of those consoles in about 3 years' time anyway, especially with the Wii U being the cheap option, with people with the PS4 and Xbox One. They're both good consoles, so it doesn't really matter. Just get whichever one you kind of like the look of now, because in a couple years' time, you'll probably buy the other one when that big exclusive, whether it's Halo, whether it's Uncharted, when that big exclusive comes out, you'll probably just buy the other console anyway.
Exactly. Halo 5 is going to come out, and everyone's going to want an Xbox, okay? The new Killzone's going to come out, and everyone's going to want a PS4. And then the new Mario is going to come out on the Wii, the new Zelda and the new Metroid is going to come out, and everyone's going to want a Wii U. And that's just how it's going to go. And unless one of these companies really screws something up, I cannot possibly see how this will ever change.
Well, yeah, that's what it comes down to. It's a screw-up. Like the Sega, when Sega was making consoles, they screwed up. They messed themselves up.
That they did.
There's room in the market for more than one console to be really successful, but if you're just stupid and you don't make the right decisions, then you're screwed. One thing I want to mention about the Xbox One release date, though, is that the 22nd of November, when it comes out, is the exact same day when Super Mario 3D World comes out. So arguably the Wii U's biggest game is coming out at the same time the Xbox One is. I don't know how much that is actually going to affect sales on either side, but it's pretty interesting that Nintendo is going head to head with Xbox One in this way.
Competition, man.
Yeah, you can't blame them. I mean, they got to get it done. They got to get the new Mario out. Because also, I was thinking, it's like, okay, that seems like a big deal, the new Mario game, but Super Mario 3D World, there's not that much excitement about it. And, how well did Super Mario 3D Land do anyway? Super Mario 3D Land did extremely well, which means that Super Mario 3D World coming out is actually a really big deal, because Super Mario 3D Land sold like over 8 million copies, probably more by that point. So you got all the people with the 3DS, because people now are all in with the 3DS. They're playing Super Mario 3D Land. If they liked that game and it got good reviews, so I think a lot of people did, they then see the Wii U being a cheaper console and 3D World coming out, a sequel with co-op. I don't know, I think it's going to get a bit interesting because, you know, New Super Mario Bros. U didn't sell the Wii U, but maybe Super Mario 3D World can.
Gee, I really wonder why New Super Mario Brothers U didn't sell it. I really wonder.
It was very average.
It was very average, but that's okay.
So my question to you is that what console are you going to get this holiday season?
Oh, I probably will end up getting a Wii U. I'm gonna probably end up waiting on the Xbox One. Just due to the simple fact that there's not an exclusive on it that I want.
Oh yeah, because that's the thing, right? You're a big Halo guy, right? So you will buy an Xbox One if there's an awesome Halo game on it.
I will, but you see, the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One still exist and are both still relevant consoles when they both are available on the market, which means games are being dually developed for them, which means that the game developer has to develop the game for the least powerful console. That would mean they have to develop it for the Xbox 360 before they develop it for the Xbox One. So whatever they get out of the main game, they'll add a few features in for the Xbox One, and there's your game. It's not going to be like Halo 4 versus what Halo 3 looked like. Halo 4 has a lot more to it than Halo 3 did, but it's virtually the same console. That time gap is what gives it that edge that changes the programming. And so that's exactly what it's going to be. I can mark my words. I can almost guarantee you that Call of Duty Ghost is going to look almost exactly the same on Xbox One as it does on the Xbox 360.
I mean, we have to wait until footage comes out, because for some reason, developers have been really they haven't been willing to put out footage of the current gen version of these games. Like, there's been no footage of Ghost running on a 360 or something like that, which I think is really strange. You would think they would throw out a video of it, so that could definitely indicate that that's what's going to happen, that they want to push the Xbox One and the PS4 versions, and they want it to feel justified, so there'll be like a difference, you know, I think you'll definitely be able to see a difference, but yeah, as you said, these games aren't being made ground up on the new hardware, so it's going to take about 2 years until we see what these consoles can really do in terms of graphics and power.
Yeah, and then Microsoft's just going to be like, oh yeah, by the way, that Xbox 360 that used to exist, yeah, that's garbage. You need to buy an Xbox One. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yep, they're saying how great the PS3 and 360 are. Oh, well, yeah, we've got tons of games in development, but after...
Tons of games.
Oh man, so many exclusives.
So many. Just kidding.
Did you play Batman Arkham Origins?
Did you buy an Xbox One? No? Oh, that sucks. It sucks. Can't play this game.
Can't play The Fighter Within.
Yeah, anyways.
It's a sad day, but anyway, so...
It is a sad day.
Let's move on to that, to some related news, which is that the first advert for the Xbox One has appeared on American televisions. Now, of course, you can't really sum up a whole console with just an advert like this. It's not fair.
You can.
Oh,
yeah, you can.
Oh.
Tom, just throw a football.
Just Xbox football, and then everyone watches football.
Throw me a football. Oh yeah, dog, that was such a great pass. Oh wait.
Awesome.
Why am I telling my Xbox to turn on football?
Now, in case you haven't seen it, to the people out there, it's pretty much an advert showing people watching TV on their Xbox One, but they're watching football games, and it's like the NFL,
Yep.
And then they're saying like Xbox on, and then they watch the game, and everyone's hanging out, having a couple of beers, having a good time.
Yeah, I wonder who paid for that commercial.
I just have no idea. It's just baffling.
No frickin' idea who paid for that commercial.
So it's just weird that was the first advert, and I don't think there was any gameplay.
There was none.
I didn't even see an Xbox One controller in the whole thing.
Nope.
And they didn't even box. It was just people being cool watching football.
Well, there was a guy that had a TV out on his roof.
Yeah, what
So,
was that? Who's doing that?
I made that. I had the top comment on that video
Oh,
because I said that. I said, "Who puts a TV set up outside?"
it's just I don't know who that advert is appealing to. You could say football fans, but if you don't know anything about the Xbox One, you would just think Microsoft is coming out with a new TV, because that's what they're advertising. That's what you're watching.
Exactly.
So I don't know
I
who's
could-
that for.
I see. I would defend this commercial if it had something to do with Xbox. Like if you pre-order an Xbox One, you can order NFL Sunday Ticket for Xbox One. You get an Xbox One, we'll give you NFL Sunday Ticket. We have a NFL channel that has direct access to all the NFL games you want to see. We also have college football. So if you buy this system and you get Madden, you can upload your stats to our special NFL leaderboard and stuff like that. And you can watch football while you're playing Madden. So whenever there's commercials, commercial break, that sucks. Let me grab my controller and have a Madden play with my dog who's playing Madden on the other side of the country and watching the game with me. He's a big, Notre Dame fan.
Sure.
So that would be great, but there was none of that.
Yeah, it was just
Nothing
trying
like
to show off a particular lifestyle, like cool people hang out. But yeah, you could have done an advert of someone playing the new Madden, next generation Madden, and then maybe they're like Xbox TV or whatever, then they cut to watching a game, and then showing how the features work rather than showing people watching a TV being cool.
What I got from that commercial is what I get from a lot of stupid products that advertise in your face type of advertising. You ever go to a store and you pick up an item and you look on the back of it and you see kids that look like they're smoking frickin' crack and doing weed and they're out of their mind on drugs and their minds are blown because this product is so amazing. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, that's how, like with children, if you pick up a child's
That's how
toy.
this commercial was. It's like, oh my God, I gotta get an Xbox One because if I get an Xbox One, I'll have fun. It was like a beer commercial where you see people drinking beer and they're all having fun and they're all out on the pier and they're swimming and they don't show the guy that drowned. They don't show the guy who got a DUI for driving home. Okay, they don't show that stuff. Oh no, man. If I drink this beer right here, I'm going to get like 16 women. My best friend and me we're going to have the time of our lives on this yacht. I mean, some guy out of nowhere is going to come down and give me $50 million in cash. That's how this commercial was. It's like, oh man, if I get an Xbox, all my football parties are going to be like this.
It'll be sick.
I couldn't possibly just plug the cable into the back of my TV and watch the game on my TV.
See, it's weird, like with beer commercials though, they have the excuse of you can't advertise on TV a taste. Like you can't have people taste the beer, but that's what you're advertising, a beer and how it tastes. But with an Xbox, you can show exactly what you can do with the thing. You can show all its features, you can show the games that's on the thing, so you can actually advertise it, so you don't have to do all that bollocks that advertising likes to do. So the fact that this is the first advert, I mean, I don't know how much it really says about Microsoft, and because they after that initial reveal that everyone hated, they then were like, okay, people don't want this stuff, they want games. So at E3 they did great, they had all the games and all that, and then all these other events they've been talking about the games and what the Xbox One can do, but now it seems like they're going back to that initial idea of the Xbox One is a cable box or a very advanced one, and it's not really a good sign for people who are going to get an Xbox One.
I don't think it's going to be a problem. I just think they really need to stop branching out and trying to encompass everything. I understand the Xbox One decision, but you got a game console. It's made for games. Why are you not advertising games?
It's just weird. And it's weird that it came out now as well, in the beginning of September, a TV advert. Like, it's just, I don't quite get it. If you want to get that brand out there early, then that's fine, but give people a reason to care about the brand. Don't just put a generic advert up.
That's how I feel.
So anyway, we'll see what Microsoft comes up with next. I'm sure they'll have the game commercial, like the showing off, I don't know, Dead Rising 3, I suppose, or whatever. I'm sure that's on the way, but at the moment, that's not their focus, apparently.
I have to tell you, I would be okay with the commercial if they just showed something.
Just anything.
Anything, but they just basically showed what you could do with a TV. Now you can do it with a game console.
You can go, don't press a button on the remote like an idiot. Say Xbox One or whatever.
Yeah, great. Xbox, U-porn. Xbox, gay porn. Xbox, see what my best friend's up to. Oh, hey, Tom, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. Yeah, you hear that in the background? You watching porn? Yeah, I told my Xbox to look me up some gay porn, bro.
You gotta love it. Get enough.
Why? Why does it matter? Xbox, play a game. Oh, yeah, Xbox, play this game for me.
I don't get the one thing with the voice recognition that I'm sure they're figuring this out, or they've figured this out, Microsoft, or I hope, is that what if, say, you get an Xbox One, and then you set it all up, people come round, and to make, for the commands, you have to say Xbox, and then something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is really dumb, because if I have a brand new Xbox One, and I invite my mates over to see it, how many times is the word Xbox going to be said?
Hey man, check out this Xbox. Hey man, that Xbox is real nice. Can I get another beer? Xbox searching beer. What? No, that's not what I said.
I'm sure they're figuring that out, but it's just bizarre that Xbox is the word. Maybe say I don't know. I guess that has to be a branding thing as well. It's like we'll get them all to say Xbox all the time, so then all they want to do is play on Xbox. It's perfect.
I can understand it too. That's a dual purpose. It's subliminal messaging. The more you say Xbox, the more you'll want to say it. But at the same time, it's kind of necessary because you want the Xbox to understand that you are talking to it. Xbox One, search eBay. Xbox One, YouTube. Xbox One, Netflix. But again, it's gimmicky.
Yeah, if you can change the word, then that's fine, but because you need to say a word that's not going to be said all the time.
Oh, wow. Oh, Tom, the Xbox is black, right? The Xbox One's going to be black, right?
Okay, I don't know where this is going.
What if the word was something that starts with an N and ends with an O?
Is there a couple of G's in that word by any chance?
Maybe. Hey, slave, search.
God damn it, why did...
Search
Why?
tobacco fields.
I don't even want to join in on this one, alright? You're on your own with this, Joe.
You can't, man, but I can see where that would be going. Everyone does it, man. Tell me right now, not everyone in the world names their rival in Pokemon something ridiculous.
Maybe. I mean, it doesn't have to be racial, though. We can all get along. Just about the Nazis.
I mean, you could name your Xbox Ass Face if you really wanted to.
That'd be cool.
So, I mean, it could be anything, though.
Yeah, well, if they give you the option, and I kind of hope they will.
I don't think they will.
Great. Thanks, Microsoft.
Thanks, Microsoft.
Just another great week for them.
For anyone who thinks I'm a Microsoft fanboy, you really need to listen to this.
You just like good games, like
I like good games. That's what I like.
Okay, though. Right, so let's move on from the Xbox One. Instead, talk about the Pokemon.
Oh,
and catching them all because there was a Nintendo Direct this week on the Wednesday, and it was exclusively about Pokemon X and Y. It's about
really good.
20 minutes long. So, before we go into what exactly was revealed, what are your thoughts and impressions of X and Y so far?
Let me just be blunt right now. The 3D look of the overworld looks like garbage. I am not a man who desires graphics, but if you're gonna give them to me right. Don't crap it up. It looks like crap. Crap. The in-game battle system, 3D effects and graphics look amazing. So again, why does my character look like he has a bobblehead? And why does everything look like I can pull out the pixels by hand? That's fine, but that's okay, because I'll be seeing more of the battle system, I hope, than the 3D overworld. I can forgive that. But yeah, I think it's really great. I'm excited about X and Y because of what they've implemented.
Yeah, the Pokemon, the graphics and like of all the character models of all the Pokemon, they all look great. I mean, all the
great.
battle animations. But
Yep.
the thing I really don't like is that they keep using that same background for every single battle they show off. You know, when they're like revealing a new Mega Evolution, they use that same green battle thing, and it looks horrendous. It's just green, and then a couple of blurry trees in the background. And after playing Fire Emblem Awakening, where they actually had 3D battle stuff, I don't know why it looks so terrible, the background. Maybe it's so they can make the models look so good and all the effects so it doesn't lag, but still, it looks a bit terrible, those backgrounds.
It does look pretty bad, man. But again, it's not make or break. That's not the make or break.
It's noteworthy, but it's not like, I'm not buying Pokemon X and Y now. That tree isn't high enough resolution for my liking.
So bad, man. It looks so bad. It's so garbage graphics, man. I can't do that.
Alright, so let's go into the details that they revealed. There was 3 of them. The first one was Pokemon Bank, which is, to sum it up, it's pretty much like this cloud-based storage system for your Pokemon, where you pay an annual fee and you can store your up to 3,000 Pokemon, I believe, in the cloud, and then you can keep them forever. So,
forever's a relative term, Tom.
They say forever.
Let's just be real here. Nothing dies in digital universe, but let's be real. Servers break and hard drives break. That's why cloud technology is a little bit of a problem right now. I mean, you've seen it with other games. When you sign on to play a certain game that uses cloud saves, like, I don't know, Alien Colonial Marines?
Oh.
Remember that? And some people signed on and had their game completely erased.
Awesome.
So, that's the only problem I have with that.
I think it's a nice idea, but the weird thing is that a Pokemon data has got to be really small, right? Like your individual data for that Pokemon, that's got to be tiny. So why can't they just do it that you can't store it on a SD card or just on your 3DS?
Well, Tom. You know why.
I know why.
You know why. It's the same reason that you can't have multiple saves on Pokemon. You know why. You know why, Tom. You know why.
Nintendo are awesome.
They like money, Tom.
They just love it.
So, the same reason you can't just individually save your Pokemon on a backup SD card so that you'll never lose them is the same reason there's an annual fee on the Pokemon Bank. I'm advocating for Pokemon Bank. I think it's great. I think if you go to your grandmother's house and you live 7 hours away and you can't just go back and grab your Pokemon, you can pull them off the Pokemon Bank. I think that's a great idea. But at the same time, I understand that they're making money off this.
Well, they have to. I mean, that's just the way these things kind of go.
I don't see how they have to with how successful Pokemon is. The Pokemon franchise is the most successful franchise to date.
It's definitely out there. It's one of the big ones.
It is. I mean, if Call of Duty had the success that Pokemon had, it would be much, much bigger than it is now. Having said that, I hope that makes an impact in everyone who's listening to this.
Well, I like the idea of Pokemon Bank, but yeah, I'm not going to pay extra for the service, and why can't I just do it, just store it physically? Or have some sort of application where you can then put in Diamond, Pearl, Black, and Y, Black and White 2, and then do it through an app rather than this cloud gaming.
Okay, so I apologise for the harsh edit here, but pretty much what happened for the rest of the podcast is that my mic started breaking. It just, for whatever reason, my headset mic, because I bought a new headset a couple of months ago, been using it, it's been great, but now it's just been breaking for no reason. So, for the rest of the recording, my mic just started fading in and out, and I was like, maybe I could edit around it, but no, it's just too much. So, I apologise to you guys for shorter podcasts, and I also apologise to Proto because, you know, the rest of the podcast was good. But what I'm going to do here is quickly go over the topics that we discussed, just so I can say we covered them, you know. So, I believe we were talking about Pokemon Bank, so I'm going to move on to that. So, also in that Pokemon X and Y Direct, they announced that the Kanto Starters is going to be in Pokemon X and Y. Now what this means is that at the beginning of the game you get to pick between Chespin, Vulpix and a frog, but also afterwards you get to pick between Charmander, Bulbasaur and Squirtle. Now you get to choose both of them, so you actually are choosing 2 starters, which is really cool. It's the only piece of news I care about, or I have cared about when it comes to Pokemon X and Y. Everything else has been like, oh, okay, alright, we'll see. But with this, it's like, awesome, finally, because for some reason, the people who make Pokemon has always been really funny when it comes to giving you any real choice. Like, from the 3rd generation onwards, they had so many different Pokemon to choose from and that they could have thrown at you. But every single game you were really limited. I think Black and White 2 started going in that direction. So, you know, like in the 5th gen, I know they had the reset, but like in the 4th gen, they had like 400 Pokemon. And at the beginning of the game, you had very little choice. It was like, if you wanted an electric type, Shinx. That's the only one you could have got. That's it. But which is a bit bizarre. So I'm glad that they seem to be going towards this, you know, giving you more choice. That's the only thing I'm excited about with X and Y, is that I really hope you have a lot more choice at the beginning of the game, and the Kanto starters are awesome. Who doesn't love them? And I don't know how it took this long for them to do something like this, because they had all these Pokemon at their disposal for years and years, and now it's finally been like, oh, maybe we could just put in 2 starters. Why don't, you know, they never, it's a bit bizarre, but I'm glad it's finally happening, so I'm a bit more excited about X and Y. Okay, so the last thing that was announced in that Pokemon X and Y Direct was that they're going to release 3DS XLs, but special edition ones, so one for X and one for Y. Now, that's pretty standard stuff, nothing wrong with that. The interesting thing is that it's coming out 2 weeks before Pokemon X and Y come out. Now, the only explanation I could come up with for this, because it's like, well, if you're going to release these limited edition 3DSs or 3DS XLs with Pokemon on them, surely it would come out on the same day. But the 2DS is coming out on the 12th of October. Now, whenever a new big exclusive like Pokemon, Mario, Zelda, whatever comes out, there's always going to be people who didn't care about the console, but this is the exclusive for them that is going to persuade them to buy it. So my explanation is that they want people in that situation who are like, okay, now I'm going to jump onto the 3DS. They want people to buy the 2DS. They don't want people to buy this Pokemon, these special edition Pokemon ones, because those really are just for the nerds, you know, for the people who love Pokemon and probably had one anyway, and it's more of a collector's item. But I think Nintendo wants people who are now going to jump onto the 3DS to jump with the 2DS, because they need to get the 2DS out there. So, of course, launching the 2DS the exact same day as Pokemon X and Y is a really good way of getting it out there. So, I mean, really, you can't complain, right? Like, sure, they probably should be releasing these 3DS XLs on the day that Pokemon X and Y come out, but they're coming out 2 weeks early. They're coming out early. They're not coming out late. You can still own one of them. You know, you can still go to the shop, buy this Pokemon, or go to the shop the day X and Y comes out and buy X and Y and a 3DS like this. So you can't really complain. It's just a bit... But it seems a bit dumb from Nintendo's part, but yeah, there's no real complaint to be had. There's no concrete, like, this is stupid. It's just they're releasing it a bit early, so... Okay, so the last bit of news that was covered in the original podcast was about Time Splitters Rewind. So not that much to say about this game, but it's still in development. In case you don't know what Time Splitters Rewind is that a bunch of fans this half company has been created from all these fans and some of the original members from Free Radical to create Time Splitters Rewind, which is a collection of all the different maps from the first 3 games, and it's geared towards multiplayer, so there's no story mode or anything, it's just geared towards multiplayer so people can play online. And it was originally only announced for PC, but now they're saying that they're making it for PS4. Now what this means is that it's not definitely coming to PS4, that's not confirmed. It just means that they're making it for PS4, but because it's such an odd project, it's being funded by Crytek, but it's not being made by Crytek. It's such an odd project that they've started doing this, but they need to get approval from Crytek UK for it to actually happen. They're just now preparing themselves to do it. So it's not 100% official, but I think we can expect it, to come out on the PS4. So this is great. For me, this is now the reason to get this game, because Time Splitters was awesome, but it's a split screen experience, so I didn't want it on PC. I think a PC game, Time Splitters, just felt stupid and pointless. Like, not awful, just the wrong idea. It would be like if they ported Super Mario 64 on a console with a D-pad. Oh wait, they kind of already did that. Bad example, but it's just you taking out a big chunk of the game by not having split screen. So they also said that when they release it on PS4, it will have split screen where PC won't. I'm pretty sure I read that. So that's great. That's another reason to get a PS4, and also it makes it like a legit title because now I can get people round. Plug in the PS4, put in Time Splitters Rewind, play some split screen, and I'm sure the graphics are going to look great as well, so that's really exciting. So now, for me, this game has now become legit and something I'm definitely going to probably try and get, The only disappointing thing is that it's not going to come out until like 2015, something like that. I was reading, if you go onto their website, they have YouTube videos of them looking at the different levels they're making, so if you're interested in the game, definitely go check them out. But he was saying how it was in pre-alpha stage, and that it won't be in it won't enter the testing stage until like late next year. Like they're not close to releasing this thing, nowhere near. So I don't think this thing is even going to come out until 2015. So that's kind of really disappointing. But it's something, you can't really complain. But it's nothing you can really get that excited about because it is a long way off. Okay, so with that, I'm going to end the podcast here. So once again, I do apologise for the audio issues. I won't be using my headset mic again for the podcast because it's a piece of useless. I'm going to name and shame them. Right, where is it? Kos. I think it's Kos. Kos or Kos. Do not buy a Kos SB/45 headset. The mics are known to break, and I didn't know about this. It's a great mic. It's just afterwards I looked up online, and apparently people have this problem where if you kind of use it a bit too much, it just breaks for no reason, which is odd. I don't quite get it. So anyway, so I apologise about that, but I think it went alright anyway. So yeah, don't forget to go check out ProtoMario stuff. He does general gaming videos, covers news, Pokemon theories is a big one for him at the moment, does reviews, me and him are doing a Let's Play of Metal Gear Rising at the moment as well. So yeah, don't forget to go check out his channel, and I want to thank him for being on the podcast. Don't forget to go check out my Twitter, HonestStorm23 on Twitter, where I'll be posting updates. I probably would have posted something about, I apologise about the podcast this week already, but what are you going to do? So yeah, anyway, so thank you very much for listening, and I will see you next week.